I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, heart's full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars, he's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank. Big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today, I am introducing a gentleman that I consider as much a brother as a friend. Friends, welcome Ted Dweebert. Ted, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thank you for having me, Tank. And yeah,
right back at it. It's an honor, believe me. First question, always the same for everybody. Tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be on Clapper.
Oh, let's see. I'm 1 week older than you are.
Yep.
And done a lot of traveling in my life. Came to Clapper when my wife, who's deceased now, Val is my wife, but my deceased wife, we'll say it that way, she started getting ill, and it was a release for me. And been on the app right at 5 years, maybe a little bit longer. And just enjoy myself. I like to have fun. And don't be too serious, guys. Just enjoy yourself.
All right. First question I have for you. How did you come up with the name Ted Dweebert?
Let's see. Dweebert back in the 80s was my gamer name. With Monkey Island and progressing from there, getting into the WoW days and COD, I've always had Dweebert. So I'm not going to put my full name there.
Right.
So Ted Dweebert.
Right on. Lena asked, what country would you like to visit and why?
Well, I've traveled most of Europe. Probably Finland, Norway, or Sweden. Just to see their way of life.
Bagger Age, we are not a political eye. This is an interview. If you have a question relevant to interviewing this gentleman, you're welcome to ask it. Otherwise, no politics here.
I will, if I may, Tank. Yes, I am a Trump supporter, and I'm damn proud of it. If you got a problem with it, bye, Felicia.
Not a problem, brother. But again, because unless my guest is very political, as American Truth was when I interviewed him, let's keep the political questions to an absolute minimum, because that's not the purpose of this interview today. Here's a question, and it's one when I was going through your content, it's one that popped into my head. If you had to, could you live without today's modern conveniences, like local Walmart and where you can grocery stores, you just pick up what you want to eat? Could you live off the land and then fishing and growing food and that kind of stuff?
As crippled as I am, one of my bucket list things, and Val also, is I would like to go for 2 to 4 weeks to Alaska. Just have the basics there. Everything else would be forged for by me and Val. I'm a hunter. I'm a fisherman. I'd keep us well fed.
I'm going to come back to that, but I want to ask Paul's question. Paul says, Ted, why did you make Val climb over your dead body when you rolled the truck?
Paul, you're an ass, and I love it. That's a recurring thing that we have in our little group. Val had a dream that we were driving somewhere in the Suburban, and I had a heart attack and rolled the truck, and she had to climb over my dead body. And I haven't heard the end of it since. And I love every second of it. Hey, Rob.
But to be fair, you can't blame you for something that happened in her dream. So I'm just saying.
Very true.
Um, now you say you're a hunter. Is there a particular animal that you prefer to hunt, or are you just whatever is in season?
Back in the day, whatever was in season. Now it's either wild pig or deer.
And do you have a particular favorite firearm that you like to hunt with?
Winchester 308 with a Bushnell 3x9 scope on it. Yes, I do.
Okay. And related to that, you say you're a fisherman as well. How long have you been a fisherman?
Daddy started teaching me when I was 4.
So quite most of your life, for the most part. I like that. I respect it. What is your favorite fish to eat?
Oh, that's a toss up because I've caught so many different species. Love sturgeon, catfish, and believe it or not, crappie.
All right, I have to ask this question Vanilla asked because it is not even penned, but he wants to know, how do you keep the chocolate starfish from stamping on your white beard? Asking for a bunch of friends.
Well, she's 5 foot, so I just push my arm out like that, and I'm good.
Um, I can, yeah, I'm gonna. Okay, you've been married before. How many children do you have from those previous marriages? I'm sure you and Val are not thinking of having a baby.
From the previous, I have 2 children that are blood and 2 that aren't blood, but they're more my children than what my blood related children are. So I have 4 kids.
Mike, before you, to answer your question, I am absolutely not jealous of Ted's beard. I would prefer mine to be more white, but with time that'll happen. Well, and I figured you did enjoy the practice, Val. I never questioned that. And do you have grandchildren?
I have
Yeah.
9 grandchildren from the ages of 3 now up to 26.
That's quite a spread. Bugs would like to know, how long have you done Forrest Gump impersonations?
I can't do Forrest Gump too well, but if you want, I can try. No, I can't do Forrest Gump. I do Bubberific.
Yeah, my question is, how did Bubberific come to be?
I can do some voices, and one day was messing around. Jeff, a friend of ours, I started messing with him. He really disliked the Southern accent. So after he got really pissy about it, I decided next day I was going to make a video, to which I would, in each video that Bubberific is in, I always go, Jeff, you just stop that, would you? So it's just messing with Jeff.
Right on. And I guess that answered Vanilla's question if Bubberific was going to make an appearance during the interview.
Oh, he can if you want. It's just to make some light, have some fun. I've lived here, down as almost as south as you can get in Georgia, in the Appalachians of Tennessee. When you get someone that looks at you and says, y'all want that dope and a paper poke? You got to make fun of them. So it's not making fun of them. It's just things that happened in my life, actually.
Rob wants to know, is Santa coming to fill a sack this year?
Hey, Rob, grin and bear it, dude. Grin and bear it.
Paul asked, where's the best place you ever visited and why?
There's so many. Probably sailing on the North Sea, sailing from Holland, Gravelinger Mere to up the English Channel. And
Why is that?
why? Because it was just so damn beautiful. It was amazing.
All right, I got to ask because she said she typed it in. Val says Santa coming to fill her sack this year.
No, Santa's coming there so you can play with his sack, sweetheart. Oh, yeah. Um, yeah.
Great question. Lena says your dad thought you had to fish or taught you had to fish. What other stories do you have when you were younger that you're willing to share?
I went to 4 different high schools in 4 different states. A lot of travel and seen 49 of the 50 states before I would say by the age of 20, I'd seen 49 of the 50 states. By the age of 35, I saw most of Europe. Um, yeah, it was fun.
Thank
And one of the places I haven't seen, sorry, Paul, to answer that question again, one of my things is I've always wanted to go to Scotland. So for Christmas this year, I'm going to see my wife in Scotland.
Right on. So, where besides, I know you live in Georgia now, where besides Georgia have you lived?
I was born in SoCal, lived in NorCal, lived, let's see, on the outskirts of Cleveland, Ohio, North Olmsted, Ohio, Irwin, Tennessee. Washington State was Federal Way and Sumner, Washington. Lived up, let's see, where else? Here, Boise, Idaho, here in southern Georgia. I lived on the outskirts of Cologne, Germany from 91 to 99.
Okay.
So,
Lena says she's from Europe. So, what is something from Europe that you love? And then she said top 3.
oh God. One would have to be the food.
On that,
The
I'll
farmers markets. Whereas here in America, most Americans don't realize you go to a farmer's market in Europe, especially in Germany, as you're walking up to it, you smell the different varieties of food. Here, you don't have that. And in Germany, they're called Frittenbudes, where you can go and get your fast food, but it's a true good fast food. It's made from scratch, doner kebab, gyros, currywurst, just their food basically, and their
okay.
beer.
Mike McGifford asked, "Are you planning to visit annex places like Western Samoa or Puerto Rico?"
No, it just doesn't. It doesn't interest me.
I understand. I've been to Puerto Rico. It's nice for a visit, but I was there because the Navy took me there. It's not because I was looking for it.
I
Paul
hear
wants to know,
that.
how did the saying "midget please" come about?
Oh hell, how many times? It's basically, yeah. I'm not answering that, Paul, because you know where it came about. There was a comedian. He's a midget, and he was talking to these black dudes, and he said, "I can't say the N word, please." He goes, "For us, when we say midget, it's like saying the N word." And so he started talking, and he looked. He goes, "Midget, please." So that's where it came from.
Okay. So Rob would like to know what you love about Scotland.
My wife, Valerie.
So on that topic, and I did plan on bringing. Can you tell us how you met Gangster Granny Val?
Um, the wife was real sick at the time. I was in with Tootie Most of you probably know Tootie. I was in her live, up in the box. Val pops in and proceeds to say to me, "Hey, Santa, can I sit on your lap and we'll talk about the first thing that pops up?" One thing about me is I'm a very loyal man. I don't cheat, never have, never will. So when she said that, first thing I did is I showed my hand as my wedding ring from her is on it now. But I showed her that I was married and she backed off. Then from there, Missy passed away. I went into a dark time for a while and saw her a couple times in the lives I was in. And as the people that you saw the wedding, Bugs put it so eloquently, for like 5 days straight, I kept getting this not friend request, but friend suggestion on Snapchat. And her name on Snapchat is not even relatively close to what it is on other social media platforms. So I finally, because I don't do that there, I hit add a friend and she doesn't accept friends. So, but she accepted me. She said, "Hey, I know him." 2 days later, I wrote her, "I'm having a great day. How are you?" And she wrote, "I'm having a sad day." Normally I would write back, but something told me, for me, uh, God was guiding me to her. I called her, and we haven't had a day since that we have not spoke.
Right on. Welcome in, Uncle Timmy. It's good to see you, brother.
Hey,
When did
Uncle
you
Timmy,
know from those beginnings? When did you know you wanted to marry Val?
5 days later, I proposed to her on WhatsApp. I was in a park on a concrete slab, and as you know, I'm kind of crippled, Tank, but I still got down on one knee and proposed to her.
Right on. Now, we, can you explain what it's like from your perspective, the difficulty of being married to someone who's living in a citizen of Scotland?
Um, it's difficult it's in the beginning. She would always say, "I'm 4,033 miles away from you." And I'd say, "Yeah, it could be 4,034." The distance hurts, but the conversations that we have, there's nothing that we do not speak about. We have problems, we talk about it. She gets angry. It tickles me, I can't help it. But that's just, it's part of a relationship. She starts to walk away. It makes me, I laugh my ass off. So it's really difficult. The longer time you spend away, the more you miss each other. So it's hard.
I get that. Paul says, how many times a day do you get in trouble?
How many times a day do I not get in trouble? No, actually, it's um. I'll just put it this way: that's our love language. Sometimes I'll push buttons. Sometimes.
Okay. I got to go back to this because um, Vanilla Gorilla said you obviously said something about you love karaoke. I don't know the quote because let me see if it's still the one. Yeah. Rumor is you like singing karaoke. How did you get into it?
There was a song when I started going into the Shocker Cruise lives after Val and I had been together for a while. In the beginning, nobody knew who I was because I wanted to protect her. So I went under a fake account, but that bored me real quick. So she and we spoke about it and I came out as myself. Um, I had sang to her, what was that? Charlie Rich's Behind Closed Doors, not
Great.
just in our WhatsApp. And then slowly she just started me talking into it. She said she thought I could sing, which I don't understand why she thinks that, but um, then I just started singing. First time I was nervous as hell.
I get that.
I see what you wrote, honey.
Peterbilt, Danny wants to know what kind of hunting you like to do.
At this stage of life, it's deer and wild boar.
Which is a bigger challenge for you as a hunter, deer or wild boar?
Say that again. You
Which is a bigger challenge for you as a hunter, deer or wild boar?
both actually. Wild boar is a little bit harder. There's a lot of walking, wild boar hunting entailed. But if you're able to read the signs, you can see where their tracks are and what their paths are, and you can stake up and wait for them. Just sitting for long periods of times hurts me. So
Yeah. Paul, which question did Lena ask him already?
Riley,
While I find that out, welcome in, Riley. Rob wants to know what's your favorite hobby.
it's been traveling in my life. Um, just even when Val was here, the road trip, going up and coming back down. Just enjoying, trying to help people, be it just verbally. Financially, I can't, but verbally, I sure as hell can.
Absolutely, I get that. I'm going to ask you a couple, and I typically ask everyone these questions. They're Clapper specific because I do like to incorporate questions about Clapper into this. So, from your perspective, what's the best thing about Clapper?
The building of communities, people coming together from all over the world, becoming friends. The circle of friends, you're included, Tank. We're a strong circle. We invite people in all the time. Clapper, if people choose to, they are able to build that camaraderie. And that's what I love about Clapper.
Okay. Ronan says, what profession or professions have you had as an adult?
Mostly mass market retail sales going into corporates. My father and I owned a sales rep organization. Starting from the bottom, what I mean by that is we'd service the stores. We hired people to service the stores. He and I would do the corporate accounts going into places such as Menards, Walmart, you name them, we've sold product. So,
Okay. Riley says, and I know I asked a question similar to this, but it wasn't the same. Riley wants to know, what was the moment you knew you wanted to marry Val? If you can recall that particular moment.
I can tell you, she's been the only woman in my life that can challenge me. And that is something that I'd always looked for, but never found.
Right.
And that was the moment when I couldn't play my bullshit games and get called in.
Okay. That's fair. What is your least favorite thing about Clapper?
Pedophiles. A lot of people say the D&D girls. I don't understand that because they're making a living at it. If you're offended by the D&D girls, don't look. The
Right.
one thing that I do not like is that anybody can come on, and also now they're not doing any type of ID check. So you're getting
Yes.
youngins and just the glitches that they have.
I get that. And I have to agree on both counts of that. Yeah, D&D girls don't bother me if they come in. what I call the hookers that come in. They just get sent away. It doesn't bother me any, to be honest with you.
Next, right?
Right. A question I had that Paul also has is, what's the best advice you've ever been given?
My daddy, I have a father who just died recently, 2.5 years ago, but my dad, who took my sister and I in and had a hard youth. The best thing was when he came to me and said, I'm sorry. And if you do something wrong, just be a man and say you're sorry.
Absolutely. That can be a hard lesson for some people to learn, but I absolutely agree with it. And for example, there have been several times I've apologized to my children for things that I've done wrong. I'm not above it, so that's a wonderful lesson. It's a great piece of advice you got. Who, if anyone, on Clapper inspires you?
There's a multitude of people. A multitude. I could probably go on for at least a minute just naming names. Your positive vibes. Val, going every day, regardless if she's not doing well, doing well. Bugs, Paul, Lindsay, Gorilla, Lacey, Loner just met as of recently. You just got a plethora of people that are there and they're supportive.
Absolutely.
That's
Uncle Timmy, thank you for the gifts. Bugs wants to know, what's your biggest pet peeve?
Shut up, Bugs. I have a thing because I have ADHD and OCD about people wearing mismatched socks. There's just something, I see that and it just messes with my head.
I got that. Ashley Foxy, who is new to me, asked, what is one thing that happened to you that you think altered your life?
When my stepfather almost killed my father in front of my eyes. And I'll just leave it at that.
That's fair. Val asked, what is my favorite name for you, honey?
Well, I'm your teddy bear.
And Rose, we are not seeing your question, and I apologize for that. Teresa wants to know if she can ask, what was your first childhood memory?
What was his name? Getting a toy robot. I was 3 and turning it on and watching it go through the kitchen and living room.
Okay. Rob wants to know, would you wear full leather with a gimp mask for Val?
If she asks me, yes.
You're a good man, Ted. I will say that. Tanya wants to know, what would you say is your biggest achievement in life?
My children, and from them, my grandchildren. And recently, Val.
All right. Take care, Uncle Timmy. Be safe.
Take care, Uncle Timmy.
Here's a fairly innocuous question, but it's one that came to me to ask you. What's your favorite food to eat?
Fried chicken.
Oh, I love fried chicken.
I could eat fried chicken 5-6 days a week.
Now, similar question, but not the same. What's your favorite food to cook?
I don't have a favorite. I like cooking. I'll try to cook anything except for peas and lima beans.
I get that.
They're poisonous.
Do you prefer to cook stovetop or to grill?
I prefer grill.
And of the things that you like to grill, is there something that would be a Ted specialty? Going with your name here.
Anything wild on a grill, be it deer, venison, wild pig, and I
Right on.
enjoy smoking.
That's awesome. Val says, "What do I call you when you're being stubborn?"
Dick. That was short and sweet.
Right to the point, no doubt. Another question that get asked just about every interview: if you could go back in time and talk to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give to yourself?
To thine own self be true. Listen
Right
to
on.
what that inner voice is telling you to do, not what you want to do.
Oh, absolutely. Good advice. Teresa wants to know, what is your favorite moment of the day? Evening, afternoon, morning?
Is that with or without Val?
How about with and without, if they're not the same time of the day?
I'm a morning person, so that would be my favorite. When Val and I are around, it's all day long. And when I get her in the bedroom.
I can understand that. Now, you've been asked about where you'd like to go. If cost was not the issue, you go anywhere in the world you wanted, and the financing of it would not be an issue. What would be the one place you'd most like to go to visit? I know
Are you
you play
asking that?
Al, but
Strangely enough, it would be Finland, Norway, or Sweden.
right on. Paul says, "Why do you cause everyone trauma?"
Because I can. Because for me, it's real easy. Oh my God, Teddy, you better seriously think about what?
She had made
Gorilla is new old. Gorilla's been around for a long while.
He's good
But
people
with
though.
us, he's one hell of a man. We call him Gorilla, and he's good people. If you're looking to follow someone, recommendation, Gorilla.
Okay, Rose has a question. She wants to know what your favorite holiday tradition is with family.
Thanksgiving. The last 10 years, me always cooking Thanksgiving dinner.
I think Thanksgiving generally is the best family holiday anyway.
But my favorite holiday is Christmas, of course.
Liam asked, "Who is the rightful true king?"
Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, nobody can argue that I know of. Excuse me a second. Teresa wants to know, what would be the perfect Christmas gift to a stranger?
A sincere smile, a big hug, and wishing them a merry and blessed Christmas. But coming from the heart.
Right.
Because people don't do that nowadays.
Yeah, and it's noticeably absent these days as well. I still try to do it, but you know. Well, now, Rob, if you say that, you're just going to encourage him to pin more.
I was going to say promises, promises, Rob. Yeah.
Mike McGiffers asked, would you ever give your ball cap to a stranger and why?
Yes, and I have. Saw an old man one time, like myself. He had a rain indicator too, and he was severely sunburned.
Oh,
And
my.
I gave it to him, asked him to cover his head so it wouldn't get worse, so he wouldn't get blisters. And he put it on.
You have a good heart, Ted. I will say that. What I know you have some physical issues, as you know I do.
Yeah.
What led to you having the physical issues other than just getting older?
COVID 2022. I got COVID and pneumonia at the same time. September 2nd, 2022. I went to the hospital here where I live, and they said, go home, just bed rest, you'll be okay. From the coughing, it aggravated an old injury I had, God knows when, never knew I had it. Pinched my spinal cord to right at 92% and pinched nerves. I had to have a fusion from the T1 to the C5, that's 4 vertebra. And the spinal cord is intact and very good. The nerve damage halfway down my thighs on both legs, complete down to my feet. With my feet, it's numb, and I'm numb from here to here all the way around from
Wow.
that.
Well, I'm sorry you have those issues, brother. But I can definitely have issues with the spine.
It's just a flesh wound.
Lindsay wants to know what's your favorite thing about your wife and why.
Her sincerity and honesty. I know when she says something, as I say it with her, we're not going to pull punches. It is what it is. And
Right.
you need to communicate. And that's it in a nutshell. And our undying love for each other.
Good answer. Teresa asked, what would you say to someone to live their life to the fullest?
Again, to thine own self be true, and don't be self-absorbed. Enjoy yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Ronan asked, what's the most difficult thing you've ever had to do?
Oh, when I was 18, I had a kid that was hit by a car, split his stomach in half. Everything was coming out. I tried to render first aid. I think I could have saved him if someone in the crowd had helped me, but no one would help. And he died in my arms. His last words were, tell my mom and dad I love them. And then the second hardest thing was when the wife was dying, having to make the decision of pulling the plug.
I understand that, brother. Val says, why do I call you Mr. Impatient Rigid Pants?
The same as I call you Miss Prissy Pants. I am not a patient man. And maybe from the OCD, ADHD, all that combined, I'm not a patient man.
I understand. Rob says, have you and Val ever been caught in a compromising position?
Not yet, but we have. Yeah, we like basements sometimes. And hey, Bugs. While we're at Bugs, she had to leave the house. Yeah, no, we haven't.
Johnny wants to know, do you own a shovel or should Val bring her own?
I have shovels, I have knives, I have guns, whatever she needs. I even have a hatchet sitting right next to me.
Johnny also asked, does traumatizing an entire Airbnb count?
We did that also. Yes. No, it doesn't count because we were having fun. We didn't care. Sorry, guys.
Thank you for
Yeah.
that. Oh, I appreciate it. Um, what is the biggest challenge you and Val face in getting married in your 60s?
The visas and all that, getting the financials together to be able to pay for the visa process.
Yeah, I can.
For it's not easy. We're
Oh,
both
I'm sure.
on limited fixed incomes, but it'll get done.
And I have no doubt, Ted. Teresa said, if someone was dying, what would your parting words be with them? And she hopes she doesn't mind. You don't mind her asking.
Even at the age of 18, and that I am a God-fearing man. As the kid was dying, the one question I asked him is, do you know the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior? Just ask for forgiveness. You'll go to heaven. If that makes any sense. It did for me and has for me.
It makes sense to me. Liam asks, where do you picture yourself and Gigi in 10 years?
Here in America, living our life together, enjoying our life together, taking one day at a time and living every day out to its fullest.
did you see her answer in the chat?
No.
She said, Liam, I can answer that for him. Balls deep.
Well, that too. That too. Oh, and I
Um,
must say, it's a misconception, and I'll just say that you young people, just because you hit a certain age doesn't mean you don't have sex. In fact, as you get older, it seems to get better.
so Bluesman is here, and he asked, did Val also get you your bee suit for possible dare night?
I'm not answering that, Blue, because whatever I answer will bring potential crap on my shoulders with that. No, I'm not getting baited. Nice try, though, Blues. Although we can work it that you do also if I do.
Um, so I have to ask, because I know you're headed to Scotland with Val after she comes over for her visit. Do you guys have anything specific planned while you're in Scotland?
Seeing some sights and me helping her um, paint, do a lot of things on the outside of her place, inside, just helping her out and being together, of course.
Absolutely. Rose, thank you for being here. You have a good night. Um, Teresa says, what is your first memory as a child?
Um, I answered that earlier. It was that little toy robot, battery
Okay.
operated, that just went by itself, and I remember it fascinating me at 3 years of age.
Rob asked, if you had one wish to come true and you can only get one, what would it be?
Good question, Rob. That Val and I legally be together and not have to worry about the government and all that BS.
And I do believe you guys are going to make that happen, Ted. Um, Welcome in, American Truth. Good to see you, brother. Um, who asked? Mike McGifford asked, do you have any Scottish ancestry?
No. German, Irish, very little. American Indian, and I'm half Russian.
Oh, that's cool. Which particular branch of American Indian? Which tribe?
Cherokee.
Yeah, there's a lot of Cherokee where I was born, up in the North Carolina mountains.
Mm-hmm. Also in Little Rock, Arkansas.
And in Oklahoma as well.
Mm-hmm.
Vanilla asked, and I have no idea what he's talking about, but maybe you will. He said left half or right half?
Vanilla, right down the middle.
Peter asked if you know a place in Scotland called Aberdeen.
I've heard of it, but that's all I know of it. I've heard it mentioned, haven't done much research on it. Scotland for me is a place I want to research it, and I have started researching a little bit about it, but I'd rather, as I did when I lived in Germany, I'd rather experience it firsthand. I don't want to rely on what someone else's interpretation of. No, I'd rather do it myself.
Fair enough. I got to ask you, Rob says, would you go gay for pay?
No.
I knew the answer, but I had to ask.
That's all right.
Paul wants to know, what are you looking forward to the most when he comes to the States in October?
Just sitting down, not having a phone in my face and being able to just talk to you, dude.
That's actually something I'm looking forward to when I meet Paul, is to look him face to face, not talk through a phone screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about a no pants party, American Truth, but whatever you're into, you know.
I'll take my pants off if Val tells me I can. She always tells me no in lives. I don't know why.
All right. So Bugs wants to know, is it easier to live with Bugs or your mom?
Bugs. It's much easier. Bugs is my evil twin. And I noticed it with Paul the other day, too. You start thinking of something, and it's like, you know what I'm thinking? Yeah, I do. Stop. Yeah.
Peter Haywood asked if you know the history of Scotland. And Peter, so you know, he's married to a woman who lives in Scotland, and I'm quite sure what he doesn't know, she'd be happy to tell him. Anyway,
Val
that's your question.
Val being a history buff, I have been learning. And once I get there, as when I lived in Germany, I lived actually in a castle that first year was mentioned in the history books was year 1250. It's not unlike America. Our history is very limited. There, you're talking 2,000 years.
Right.
We as Americans can't fathom that. When you go up to some piece of architecture, and in the year 600, it started to be built.
I get that. And I got a little bit of perspective on that, Ted. If not before, because I've been to Rome, for example, but I went to Athens, Greece, and I walked among the ruins of the Acropolis. You know, and that's going thousands of years back. So,
well, that's like, did you know in Cologne, Germany, there are Roman artifacts and evidence of civilization, Roman civilization in Cologne, Germany?
I did not know that. Is it safe to assume, Ted, that you do like to learn things?
I like to what?
Learn new things.
Yes. Yes, most definitely.
Rob asked, have you had a romantic bath with Val?
Bath, no. That will do in Scotland. But we've had plenty of showers.
Peter, I'm not sure where you're going with this, but he said, Ted, he asked in 1987, did you hear about the Peterhead prison riot?
No, I did not. I did not. If I did, I've forgotten it.
Teresa, what do you mean a life organ? Her question is this.
I saw the question. So my vow to Val and my family is I will give my life to preserve theirs.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Pardon my confusion on that question. I'd take a moment, Ted, if you don't mind, and just give a quick preview of what's coming up. Next
No
week,
problem.
3:00 Central Standard Time, my interview guest will be the Black Spider-Man. I also will mention that 2 weeks from today at 3:00, my interview guest is American Bearded Warrior. Ted is just I'm hitting a 4-week stretch of phenomenal guests. Ted's just the first one. So I really hope you guys will keep coming and supporting and asking questions and helping make these interviews the amazing experiences for me that they are. And I try to make them as fun and enjoyable for my guests as well. So
if I may say, not many of you have had the pleasure of meeting Tabby and Tank. I have. Val has. One hell of a man. I respect you and I appreciate what you do on this app.
well, thank you, Ted. I appreciate it. Rob, I appreciate that. I've been really blessed to get some amazing people to agree to sit down and let me interview them. And Ted is just the latest amazing person to let me ask questions, and it's very much appreciated. I really enjoy doing this. I always learn something. Every interview I do, I learn something I didn't know, and it's fun learning about people. I think it helps me to know people better, which is hard to do when you're on a social media app. So I am very much appreciative of that you give the time to let me do this, Ted.
And one last thing, I'm going to say it. There's 63 people and the 65 now. Val, I love you with all my heart.
Is there someone that you know on Clapper that you haven't met yet that you'd like to meet in person? Now, I know Paul is coming, so setting Paul aside, Paul and Blake, but
Diamond Lou. See, Diamond Lou and I spent a lot of time in the same city of Concord, California, and we've spoke about that, he and I. And I'd love to meet Diamond Lou in person. Ronan, another one. He's who else? Truth. Peter. We tried to meet Peterbilt.
right.
And shut up, Rob, and Rob too. I don't know why he's a pain in my ass, but yeah. Peterbilt also. And if I forgot someone, I do apologize, but
Everybody you named is on my short list of people I would dearly love to meet. There are some that I may never get to meet because of how far away they are. Like Aussie Kaz is in Australia. I know that there's not real likelihood chance that I'll ever get to Australia, but I'd love to meet her. And then my friends in the UK. Steve, LUFC official, Kiki, Kevin. They're just some really great people. It's why I keep coming back to Clapper every day.
Yes.
And what-
Oh, and there's one other thing I'd like to say. It's American English. Why is it called American English? Because we had to take the shite that they had made their language up with and make it to where it could be understood. Just saying, Paul. And Kevin. And Val.
It is what it is. That's all I'll say about it. Hey, Rob, believe me, if I ever have the opportunity and can afford the trip, I will definitely come to England because you are among the people there I would love to meet and look at you eye to eye and have a conversation that doesn't have to happen across a phone screen. So I'm hoping I can make that happen sometime. And Bug said, damn, time to sharpen the shovels.
Oh, that's all right. I got a pitchfork here too, if you'd like to see it. Never mind.
I will ask this now. I've gotten to see a bit of your sense of humor, particularly since you've been part of the Shocker crew and with Val. I mean, has that always been an aspect of your personality, or is that just something you've discovered lately?
No, it's been something that's always been there.
Oh, I like that. It's not like I get reputation for being stone faced on Clapper. Not changing my expression. But I do have a sense of humor. I do love laugh. I don't know. I'm not sure what makes people think. There's a sport going around Clapper for people to try to get me to change the expression on my face, and I'm not sure why.
See, I like humor also to where it makes people think.
Yeah,
Because if they're thinking, they're learning.
absolutely. I think it's one of the. I don't believe I'll have an issue with losing my faculties as I get older. I'm constantly learning and doing things that make me use my brain. I think it's a way to keep keep the brain alive and challenging yourself all the time. And it may happen. I'll lose my mind, and we'll see what happens then. But I like doing
Right
things like.
back at you, Gorilla. Not all Californians are dummies. Or
Well, there's some very.
Californians now. Now it's the left coast.
Peter said it. Peter wanted to know if you've ever been to England, and he came late. So while you were running down,
Peter, I have been to England. Spent a lot of time, some time in London, but a lot of time in Leeds, England, with a very near and dear friend of mine back in the day.
So Teresa says, if you had three wishes, only one would do. I take them to pass, I guess, because the other two would hurt them. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what that question means, Teresa, but
One country because the other two would hurt them. Getting her here.
Yeah.
That's it in a nutshell right now.
All right. Unless somebody else has a question immediately ready, I'm going to wrap up the questions. So, having said that, Ted, it's something I do every interview is I offer my guests the opportunity to do a shout out, whether it's for a person, a thing, a place. What you shout out is entirely up to you, but I'm going to give you that opportunity to do that right now.
To my wife, Val. Bugs, Paul, Gorilla, Lacey, Lindsay, Teresa, Rob, just that circle, the Shocker crew. A lot of people hate them. A lot of people hate us. That's, you know,
Yep.
it's just, and don't forget next week is Black Spider-Man, guys. That'll be another good one.
Black Spider-Man's an amazing guy. I'm looking forward to interviewing him again. First time for Big Tank Talk, though. So it should be amazing. Ted, this has really been an outstanding interview. I really appreciate you giving your time to do this. I want to do a shout out for, first and foremost, Fear the Reaper. Paul, he is my partner in all things Big Tank Talk. He screen records every week and makes sure I have a good recording to put up on YouTube when I put it on my YouTube channel on Wednesday at noon. I also want to shout out to Lena and my amazing mods to keep they keep the chat clean, keep the questions pinned so I don't miss them. And Lena, you do a really good job of going back when they start coming faster and I keep up. And I appreciate that. And with that, guys, I want to tell you guys, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for being here. Ted, thank you for being my guest today. I appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you asking me, dude. Everyone, have fun.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
Love your faces.